I think what's most interesting to me about Age of Wizard Lords is that it's using a system that is tried and true, that is arguably one of the most popular systems ever developed by Wizards of the Coast. That uses really great tactical, strategic gameplay, and that also allows for a fast, immersive game. But it takes that system and it elevates it to just using really quite simple mechanics. It elevates it so that the game can be more in line with what has happened to the fantasy genre. When I started this, the Clinton administration, we used to play with theater of the mind. We didn't use a lot of the tactical kind of fantasy role playing games, and so we didn't really play a lot of Dungeons and Dragons. We did a little, though we would also make homebrew systems, table rules that broke the system down. But that was because fantasy then was really about getting your sword, getting your cleric, and then marching into a dungeon. These days, with what's going on in games, whether it be the Dungeons and Dragons games like Baldur's Gate, or if it's Dragon Age, even a lot of the MMOs have really broken the genre to be something much bigger than that. Most recently, Arcade I got sucked in on, and that it completely transcends the boundaries of fantasy. And then you have what's going on with Game of Thrones, the Steven Erikson books. The genre has become much grittier, much realistic, much more political. And you can see in the later versions, especially what's going on with Princes of the Apocalypse and some of the things that Wizards of the Coast is putting out right now, that it's all very faction focused. So what we're trying to do with Age of Wizard Lords is apply mechanics to an already stable system, the SRD, which has been released in the 5th edition this past January. And these mechanics are going to allow players to, really have a stable faction system that can be played exclusively. You wouldn't even need to go into a dungeon if you didn't want to. You can entirely play the game politically. There are mechanics there for crafting. I mean, I know that Dungeons and Dragons and the SRD sort of deals with crafting, but there's a robust system for crafting. So if all you ever wanted to do was be a merchant, you could. There are mechanics for magic that kind of transcend the existing magic mechanics. Doesn't take them away. We still have magic as we know it in the SRD, but the mechanics have taken it to another level. Since this Age of Wizard Lords, our setting demands that everybody be able to practice magic, even if you're a barbarian. So we have mechanics in place for that, for universal magic. There are other mechanics too around cosmology and some other things, but really the point of it was to allow players to be able to play the game in whatever way they wanted. That if you wanted a Game of Thrones political faction-based warfare, you could do that, and the game will enable you to build kingdoms, castles, go to war, all of that. If you want to do a dungeon crawl, with your cleric, you can do that. If you want to build wonderful magical items that can be sold for fortune, you can do that. And it's all based in the SRD. Now, that was created to support a huge setting, which is going to be rolled out in the coming months. And the setting, I think, is wonderful. There are new races, and with these new mechanics, the new races will be a very interesting addition to the game. Right now, we are developing. We are testing some of our concepts. There are campaigns going right now that are playtesting the preliminary mechanics, and we will be releasing alpha shortly, hopefully by the summer, and then we'll invite a broader audience to come and test our mechanics in our game. So now's a good time to jump in, sign up for the newsletter, We're going to be very vocal about our process. We're going to be very transparent. Everything's under the open game license. We're going to be releasing the game under a Creative Commons license so that you will be able to use it in your own settings without lawyers or whatever. So it's all very open, all very transparent. We really want the community involved because we want to do it right. We don't want to produce something that won't be played. So we're inviting you. Please join our newsletter. We'll be able to communicate with you best that way. Also, we'll be building properties on social media. So just keep an eye out. We'll hope to see you around. Thanks for visiting. I appreciate it.